Hey, what's up everyone? So in today's video, I just wanted to go over my rationale behind a trade I was thinking of doing. So do not take this as financial advice. I'm not a registered financial advisor, and there is a ton of risk involved with this. So please, whatever you do, invest at your own risk. Do your own research. Warning aside, let's get into the video. So we're gonna go over here to PLTR, right? This is a stock I've been eyeing. They have earnings coming up. So let's go over here. And this is basically the trade I was thinking of doing. So I was thinking of selling a put that expires like super far into the future, the farthest out it can go. And I will sell this put at the $30 strike here, and I will get $1,000 instantly, just like that. Now with this money, right, I was thinking of just going ahead and buying call debit spreads to speculate on earnings. What I would do is I would buy this call here, then I would go to sell, make sure sell is selected, and go over here to sell the $30 call, and I will enter this trade for a net debit, so I would end up paying $71 for this. Now because I've capped my max gains, the most I would be able to make is about $228. The most I'll be able to lose now is $72. So this really isn't too shabby. This is a pretty good trade, risk to reward. Either I could go ahead and 3x my money in about 2 weeks or a week, depending how you look at it, or I can end up losing it or somewhere in between. So not too shabby right there. But we're not stopping there. We got $1,000 for free. That's house money. And let me explain really quickly why I think that's house money. Palantir has had a hard time dipping below $25, right? It's been in this $20 to $25 range, and I'll be surprised to still find it trading there even after all this time. Like if it's still there by January 19th, 2024, I'd be really surprised to see that. I mean, it is possible, don't get me wrong, but I'd be pretty surprised regardless. And given the fact that it doesn't really want to go lower than 20 or 25-ish, even if I got a sign at 30, that still isn't really that far. I mean, I could probably sell some covered calls, get my cost basis down, average down. I mean, I don't really care if I pay $30 for Palantir that far into the future. I really don't think this would get assigned. It's possible, but I don't think so. Also, there's no weird way Palantir would go bankrupt because they have no debt. They have a bunch of cash. In fact, they've been buying gold and investing in a bunch of other companies. You don't do that if you don't have the cash for it. If you can't afford to lose that cash. Besides buying those call debit spreads, I will basically, by the end of that, let's say I bought 2 of those, so that'll be about, like maybe 145-ish, including the commissions. So that still leaves me with about $850 that I have left to play with. I can go ahead and buy this LEAPS option here and still have maybe a tiny bit left over that I can just buy some FDs on. So with this LEAPS option, what I love so much about it is that it's really close to the money. In fact, it's considered at the money. So there's a lot less risk going into this. And I can start making a lot of intrinsic value very quickly, since the stock doesn't have to go up so much for it to be considered in the money. And let me show you guys what this looks like. We're gonna go over here. I already selected everything for Palantir. And I love this website. This website, by the way, is called Options Profit Calculator. This isn't a plug for them. I just really find the website useful. So we're going to go in, and this is basically plays out all the different scenarios. If Palantir is at this price, how much money would I make on my option? If Palantir is at this price over here, it shows you how much you'll make. So this really lays it out, and it even has you change the IV. But we're going to leave that blank for now because I'm not that smart to know what IV is going to do, right? If we go on and check on IV right now, the only thing I know is that it's at 55. That seems pretty low to me historically, so that is in our favors right now for buying calls. And I've noticed that the Palantir options are pretty cheap in my eyes. The stock could go up, I think with earnings might go up all the way to 30. That's pretty conservative. So right off the bat, I'd already be making a pretty considerable sum. I would basically profit at that point $200 on top of that. But I think Palantir could very well be a $50 stock, if not way more, by 2024. That basically becomes a profit of $1,412. Now granted, all of this money that I'm playing with to make these speculative bets, I got from selling a put. So this is all basically free money. And these are pretty good returns. Like, look right here. Right, so this right here, if by expiration, it's like $50 per share. That's a 168 return that I'm getting on my leaps. So this more than covers all the money I invested into. and then some. And I could also go ahead and exercise this call to buy Palantir when it's worth 50. I can buy it for 27. Automatically, I'm making money, and I'd have shares on the cheap that can continue to make money for me. On top of this, I'm not done here. On top of this, if I wanted to, I could turn this into a poor man's covered call or even a call debit spread. Since this leaps is pretty deep in the money here, so I can go ahead and sell monthly covered calls, monthly PMCCs, if you will. So this one has a really low delta, and no matter what, if the leaps goes in the money and this goes in the money as well, the leaps will be worth way more than this. So I can easily buy this contract outside, I won't get assigned with the leaps and still profit from it. Or if I don't have to, then I would basically make $20 max profit if I let it expire. So that's pretty good. I could keep doing that, month after month, and it doesn't have to be this low. More realistically, it may be like $100 or so, or $50 that I could be making every month extra on top of that. So yeah, so this trade seems pretty good. I think I'm really bullish on Palantir. I think it can only go up from here. I'd be surprised to find it go down lower. It has a strong floor. Let me go back to that real quick so you guys can see that. A strong floor, a strong base here. So I think it can only go up from here. And it's been in an uptrend for the last 3 months. So we've seen it's been higher. Sure, it dips at times, but when it dips, it doesn't dip as low. So that's a pretty good sign. So, we could easily be visiting back this short-term high here. Maybe even if we're lucky, go over to this high over here at 45. It doesn't show it here, but that's where it went up to. So all in all, this seems like a pretty solid trade plan. I'd be giving a bag to the shorts so that they basically get into a bad investment, they'll fail. And I can take that bag and use it to gamble. Now this seems like a pretty good play and all, but for my circumstances, I'd have to pass on this play. Sure, betting on earnings seems pretty fun, don't get me wrong, but we're only talking about a 168% return on a measly $800 or so, $830. So I'd only be like this much richer by the end of it after all that time. And I think I could earn this a lot easier. For instance, if I just go over here to Apple, one of my favorite stocks ever, and I go over here, trade Apple options, okay, and I sell puts, weekly puts every single week. So I'd be making $100 by the end of November 12th if all goes well. And I could keep doing that pretty much every week and make $100 every single week just by doing that. Sure, I may get assigned, but then I just turn around and sell covered calls. So I could easily make that much money just by doing this, right? And you may be wondering why, well, hey, why can't you do both? Well, see, the problem is that me personally, I don't have enough money to wheel Apple and do that. So anyways, guys, I hope you learned a lot by watching this. I'll be doing more of these kind of trade analysis videos since they're pretty short and I feel like it could offer a lot of value to your life. Again, don't do this. There's a lot of risks involved. Of course, some trades are riskier than others, but I really don't want to be responsible for anyone losing any money. So just take this all as you will. Thank you all for watching and have a wonderful day.